Is the customer always right? You have to understand where the client is coming from. Let's handle it up front so they're not handling it down the road. Avoidance never fixes a problem. Hi, my name is Damon Gettier with Damon Gettier & Associates Realtors, brokered by Real. Is the customer always right? The old adage said they were, but is the customer always right? And how do you handle that situation if they're not? In real estate, we deal with a vast array of personalities. We deal with a vast array of customers, we deal with clients. And real estate really is a customer service industry. It's not as much of a sales industry as it is customer service, and learning how to work with different personality types, how to empathize, how to sympathize, and how to convey the message you're trying to convey to the consumer. To be successful in the real estate industry, you're going to have to learn to deal with a vast array of different personalities and to do it calmly and professionally. Tip number one is going to be to learn how to empathize and be professional. When we talk about empathize, what we want you to do is you have to understand where the client is coming from or where the customer's coming from. If you don't understand the problem, if you don't understand why they're upset, then you trying to convince them that they're wrong or they're seeing it the wrong way or that their perception is incorrect is only going to make the matter worse. Most real estate agents, while they have two ears and one mouth, kind of act like they have two mouths and one ear because they talk more than they listen. And if you were to sit there and listen to the consumer and find out what their concern is, what their problem is, why they're upset, bring the situation down by calming it down, talking a little slower, bringing your tone down, listening to the consumer, letting them have their say, then formulate your questions to go a little deeper and find out why they're thinking that. A lot of times you can alleviate the situation. Tip number two would be to set clear expectations from the start. A lot of times what we see is people are upset because they don't know what to expect. We highly encourage our agents to have what we call strategy sessions. And the reason we do a strategy session is to sit down with the consumer and explain to them how the process works. Even if you bought a house 2 or 3 years ago, a lot has changed in the last 2 or 3 years. And if you sit down with the consumer, with the client, prospective client, and explain to them exactly what the process looks like today, it sets them up for success and there's a lot less confusion. Some of the things you might want to establish is what type of communication do they want? Do they want to be called? Do they want to be emailed? Do they want to be text? Now keep in mind that if you're dealing with a husband and wife, legally you have to communicate with both of them. So whatever you do, you need to figure out how to communicate the same message to both of them every single time. The other thing you want to do is establish what hours you're going to communicate with them. You know, some people want to be communicated with only during business hours. Some people only after business hours. If you have your own life, which I hope you do, you need to establish the parameters for when you will communicate with the consumer. I see a lot of real estate agents tell them, hey, look, you know, I'm available during business hours for everything that's mundane. If we're negotiating a contract, I'm available after business hours. But for anything that's not contract related, then typically they want to work during business hours. And that's the easiest way for a real estate agent to establish a process that works for them and their family lives. Tip number three is going to be to communicate clearly and frequently. And I use this example with my agents all the time. And I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I can. If I'm looking for a car and I go to 2 Ford dealerships, first Ford dealership, I say, this is what I'm looking for and it's not in stock. And the salesperson says, okay, I'm going to look for it and I'm going to let you know when I find it. You know, I'm your guy. Go to dealership number 2, he says the exact same thing. Dealership number 1 calls me or texts me every day and says, hey, look, I looked at our inventory. I looked at everything coming. I looked within 200 miles. I don't see that car anywhere. I'll check back with you tomorrow. Dealership number 2 does the exact same search, but doesn't call me or text me and tell me that. So after 3 weeks, I've talked to dealership number 1 15 times. I've talked to dealership number 2 0 times. Both of them are doing the same work behind the scenes, but I'm only hearing from dealership number 1. Which dealership am I happy with? Which one am I more inclined to do business with? And so when you're working with a client, it's very important that they not have to reach out to you for questions, that you're communicating enough with them that they're just going to wait for your next call because you are communicating with them very, very frequently and very clearly. Tip number 4 would be to address problems head on. And it's not confrontation, but it's a problem. If something pops up, if something happens, avoidance never fixes a problem. They don't go away, okay? A lot of people think, hey, if I don't talk about it, maybe it's not going away. So just address it up front. Whatever that is, if there's a problem, if there's a misunderstanding, do Do not avoid it. The last thing you want them doing is going to their friends and family and getting advice because they couldn't get it from you. So if there's an issue, call them, get them on the phone, explain what the issue is. Let's handle it up front so they're not handling it down the road. One example would be if you go through a house, you're going to make an offer on this house, you love this house, but you see that there's a leak in the back sunroom. Rather than not say anything on the contract, write an offer on it, do the home inspection, and then ask for that to be fixed. You already knew it needed to be fixed. Why not address it head on? You know it needs to be fixed. Let's address it head on. Because the seller is going to assume, well, you saw the leak, you didn't say anything about it, I guess you don't care about it. And then all of a sudden you do care about it. And so if you know it's there, if you know it needs to be addressed, let's just address it head on. Let's just write it up in the contract, in the purchase agreement, in the offer, and ask them to fix it up front. It's just, why would we avoid a problem we're never going to have? If we know it's there, let's just talk about it initially. Tip number 5 is going to be manage client expectations realistically. And what I mean by that is this. Perfect example. I had a client, actually one of my best friends now, years ago, said, hey, I want to buy a house in Roanoke. I don't want to spend over $200,000. I don't want a ranch, and I don't want to split level. I was like, we've got a problem, because if you're going to spend less than $200,000 in Roanoke County and you don't want a ranch, you don't want to split for you, you're not buying a house. And so we had to have a conversation. So why agents avoid questions, why we don't set expectations up front is kind of crazy. It'd be like someone saying, hey, I'm looking for a house, I want to buy it, I need to move in 12 days. It's not going to happen. It's going to be very hard for me to get title work back in 12 days. If the banks would cooperate, if everything could happen perfectly, it's going to be hard just to get the title work done in 12 days. So set realistic expectations. Another example would be someone saying, hey, I'm getting a VA loan and I want to close in 3 weeks. I can't get a VA appraiser to respond in 3 weeks. So I know I can't get you the loan in 3 weeks. So setting realistic expectations is important for all parties to be happy with the transaction. Tip number 6 would be to use conflict resolution techniques. So some of these examples would be a win-win situation, like find a way that both parties can win. So I don't know if you've ever watched Dr. Phil, but Dr. Phil always says, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Sometimes you can be right and not be happy. And so when you're looking at a situation, at a conflict, look at it this way. Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Do you want to blow a deal up and be right? Or do you want to get the consumer, the client, what they want? Because it's not about you. We're talking to real estate agents here, okay? It's not about you. It's not about whether you're right or not. It's whether your client gets what they want or not. So sometimes in a negotiation, you can be right and you can win and your client loses. Is that what you want to do? Or do you want to find a solution that your client gets the house they want, they get the result they want? You might not win your fight, but your client gets what they want, which means you win. We're not trying to fulfill unrealistic expectations, but what you want to do is make sure that it's not about you, it's about your client. It's not about your ego. It's about the client getting what they want. And a lot of times people get on this kick of, I want to win, or I want to beat them, or I want to show them that I'm the most knowledgeable. If it doesn't serve your client, if it doesn't get your client the house, did you really win? Because I don't think you did. You need to do what's going to serve your client and get your client the house they want, the property they want, the result they want, how they need it, not how you need it. So tip number 7 is going to be know how and when to set boundaries. And the win initially, if you do it the right way, is going to be a strategy session, a listing appointment. You need to establish how you're going to communicate, when you're going to communicate, what your communication style is, how they want to be communicated with, and then you need to abide by it. And so typically what we tell everybody is like business hours are 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. More than happy to do business. Contract related stuff we do after hours, but regular mundane medial tasks are done business hours Monday through Friday. And we have some agents that in the past have answered client calls at 10:30 at night, made client calls 10:30 at night, and then after a couple months they start burning out and their families get upset and their significant others are disgusted with the real estate business because I don't understand why your phone rings 24 hours a day. It's because you let it. You didn't set boundaries. Or if you did set boundaries, then you broke those boundaries and you can't do it. So we talk about setting boundaries, like work hard, be kind. It's what we live by. Like, work hard, be nice about it, but do it in a business-like manner. I can be professional, I can be business-like, I can be polite and still have boundaries. And that's what you need to do. It kind of baffles me that nobody would call their CPA, their lawyer, their doctor at 10:30 at night, but some people will call their real estate agent at 10:30 at night because something popped in their head. Just because they called you at 10:30 at night doesn't mean you need to answer the phone. If you answer the phone, now you've given them permission to. They could leave a message and you can sit there and listen to the message and say, does it need to be handled as an emergency? Is the house on fire? The house isn't on fire. There's not a whole lot. Your lender's not working, your title company's not working, the attorney's not working, the appraiser's not working, so there's not a lot that can be handled at 10:30 at night. Now, if you're in an active negotiation, that's one thing. Outside of an active negotiation, I don't see why anybody needs to be called after hours. Tip number 8, don't take it personally. It's not about you. It's not about you at all. It's about the client. As soon as it becomes about you, you've created a problem. It's not about you. It's not about your ego. It's not about your sale. It's about serving the client. There's an old Zig Ziglar adage is that nobody cares how much you know to the net how much you care. Take care of the client. If you take care of the client, then you will be taken care of. But you can't take it personally. Like, there's so many people in this world, but especially in this industry, that want to win. They want to beat the other guy. Well, if you beat the other guy, you lost. It's got to be a win-win. It's got to be collaborative. This is the weirdest business in the world because it's the only business I know that I depend on my competition to be successful. Like, in this town, you have Berglund Ford and Magic City Ford. Neither one of them depend on the other for anything. They don't like each other. They fight, okay? In real estate, I depend on my co-brokers, on the other agents to bring me offers on my houses and then to have houses that we can bring offers on. It's collaborative. And so when it becomes about you, the client loses. Furthermore, when we talk about don't take it personally, when you set a boundary, you can't feel bad that you set a boundary. I'll just tell you this, because if you don't set boundaries, you're very short for this career. The ones I see that come into this field, and it's funny because they'll tell their friends and family and clients, they're like, call me anytime, it doesn't matter. And then all of a sudden when people call them all the time, it starts to matter. Because you burn out. Because when do I get time for me? When do I get time to unplug? When do I get time to do what I want to do? And, hopefully you have systems, hopefully you have backups, hopefully you have other agents that are helping you like we do at our team. But if you don't, you need to establish those things. You need to have boundaries so that you can live your life to the fullest and still fulfill your obligations to your clients. Tip number 9 is going to be know when to refer or to walk away. One thing I tell my agents is that we don't deal with jerks. Saying that nicer than I say in real life. We don't deal with jerks. If you're rude, if you're nasty, we're not going to deal with it. And it's just, life's too short. There's too many good clients out there. There's too many good customers out there. We don't deal with jerks. Someone that wants to be a jerk, that's their own battle. Whatever they're dealing with doesn't need to be brought into our aura, okay? If someone's a jerk, if someone's nasty, if someone's mean, don't deal with them. Get rid of them. If someone needs something that you're just not capable of being, you just don't have experience. You don't have the knowledge. You don't have the depth. Refer them to another agent. There's always agents out there that know stuff you don't know, and you know stuff that they don't know. And so if someone is looking for something that you're not capable of doing, if you're a strict residential, someone's looking for farmland, or if you do lake stuff and someone's looking in Roanoke or Salem and that's just not your area of expertise, refer those people so that you're not alienating the client, you're serving the client. Know what you're capable of. I mean, one of the things you have to do, code of ethics, is you have to disclose to the agents what your scope of ability is. And if it's not in your scope of ability, you refer it to somebody. But if someone's nasty to you, someone's mean to you, if someone's derogatory, someone talks down to you, don't do business with them. Let them go somewhere else. Let them beat somebody else up. Nobody deserves to be a punching bag, and no commission check is worth being the punching bag for anybody. So, thank you for watching our video on the top 10 tips that we gave you 9 of. It was supposed to be 10, but I combined 2 at the beginning. And so my video director back here is like, oh no, don't say that. But hey, it's the truth. We had 10, I combined 2 at the front. If you can figure out which 2 it is, comment below and let me know. Because I combined 2 at the very front. And so our top 10 became 9. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you have any questions, please reach out. If you want to see more videos like this, content, collaborate, then please visit our Facebook page, Real Estate Success Cast. Thank you for watching. See you next time.